Hi, it's Chris from Dozer Training. What we're going to cover now, obviously after we've done our pre-start checks, we're going to set ourselves up now to do the slot. So this is going to be a test spec slot. So I'm going to run you through the principles and the processes and how to do this slot. Okay, so seatbelt on. One of the things that you want to be doing as well as part of your test is you want to make sure that you over-exaggerate your observations. So observations when you're going forward, left and right, and observations when you're going backwards, left and right as well. What I tend to do is I tend to pick a shoulder, which is my right shoulder. I'll glance over my left, I'll take into view what's over my left shoulder. Then what I'll do then is I'll shuffle around in my seat and I'll look round over my right shoulder like that. So as you're travelling back, it's important that you are doing your observations. So your test spec, your slot, what you've got to do is a 10 metre flat push. So you can see I've got the marker pegs out, I've pasted it out. It's a little bit more than 10 metres because I always like to do more than 10 metres.
Now obviously on test day, you will mark it out with a tape measure, but just for the purpose of doing the training, you can pace it out 10 metres. As long as you've got a decent long stride, you'll be all right. But remember, test day, do it with a tape measure.
If you find that you peg it out or pace it out less than 10 metres exactly, you'll find that you'll end up leaving yourself short during your cut. So pace it out a little bit longer when you're doing it, and then you won't go wrong. You want to be a couple of metres away from each peg. You don't want to get too close to it, and you want to make sure that your machine is set up and set to slot, so you want to be in a nice straight line. So what you can do as part of that is you can sort of like take a bit of a reference from the first peg, gauge where you are with that peg, and then drive to your next peg. Just to make sure that you're straight. Take a little bit of a reference point from that peg, okay? So I know where I'm going to be. So on the first initial cut, what I want to be doing is I want to just basically score myself a little bit of a groove out. Now, part of your mandatories is to have a full blade, apart from when you're finishing. I will accept a non-full blade when you're starting, just so you can cut yourself just a little bit of a groove, just so you know where you're going. So just have a gentle cut through it, just so you can put a marker on the ground, so you can see what you're doing. Nice and steady. One of the things I want to capture as well is rapid hand movement. So when we are actually cutting, when we're controlling the blade and we're penetrating that blade into the ground, what we call rapid hand movement is you'll see my right hand, my blade hand, that'll be moving, that'll be doing little intricate little twitches just while I find my level. Once you've got the level, rapid hand movement will slow down. Gear-wise, what you want to be selecting, a gear what you're comfortable with. I normally do this in around about second gear, and for less experienced operators they want to be doing it in a lower gear because you want maximum revs. Okay, so we're going to start cutting the slot now. So you want to start from peg to peg, roughly, as a guide. Just drop your blade in. You want to be dropping your blade in about 100mm, not too much. Okay, and then there's a transition point here. So what the blade's just cut now, and where your tracks are going to fall into it, there's a transition period where you need to lift the blade up as the nose of the tracks fall into the cut, so that you get one nice continual cut. So that's one of the things that you want to be watching out for, and it's feel more than anything. You can time it by looking, but it's more so a feel. So lift that blade as the soles of the tracks fall in, feel for it. You see the blade doing and what you feel yourself actually in the seat are two completely different things. So you can see I'm pushing a nice full blade full now, and I'm taking it out in a layer. But don't worry about little tiny waves in it, because we're getting this ground out now. When you get to your second peg is where the end of your cut is. You want to push it. You want to push your material a little, about a metre, and then you want to start forming your ram. Now, depending on what the material's like, as you can see, this material's quite wet and quite sticky and clumpy at the minute because we've had a lot of rain. It will get drier as we go down. Take the toes of the tracks to the end of the stockpile, and if you have got any excess material in your blade, it will fall out.